Hello everyone and welcome to Sly Street TV and welcome to my 2014 Holden Commodore. I took to TikTok presenting an idea that I have for the car to basically make a budget build and improve the car's performance. I also gave it a nickname, the FU6. Why the FU6? Well, Holden had something called the XU6. The last generation of that was the HSV XU6 in the early 2000s. And I thought naming it the XU6 might be a pretty cool nod, but FU6, well, that's because it's a V6 and I just wanted to say FU to the Ford Falcons, just to give them a little nudge nudge. Yeah, that sounds a little bit corny, but FU6 it is. I hadn't disclosed any information on what I want to do to the car, but I did take to TikTok asking you guys what I should do. And I've gotten quite a few suggestions and I have noted them in this book right here. On this first page here, Project FU6. Now, what ideas do I have? Well, first of all, before even getting into the ideas that I have for this car, I am going to do a little restoration for this car. This car definitely needs a little bit of work done to it, needs some new weather stripping, needs some new seals, and it needs a new handbrake, and not to mention new headliner and a new door and a fix up on the rear fender. Other than that, this car runs perfectly smooth and it is a pretty fun car to drive being a base model Commodore. I wanted to get into the suggestions you guys have, and I'm only naming you guys off of the profile name that comes up in the comment section and not by your actual usernames. So bear with me here. First suggestion I have here is by Just G. Turbocharging and using the Series 2 front and rear bumpers. Now, that's not a bad idea, but using the Series 2 front and rear bumpers is very predictable. I don't want to really do any of that. I mean, I do have an idea to use a Series 2 bumper for the rear of the car, but the front, not so much. But turbocharging is not bad. As is, the car does have a bit of bad fuel economy, 11 litres per 100 Ks if you're driving it very civilly. So turbocharging might bring that up to probably 15. I'm not entirely too sure exactly, but it depends on what turbo and how much PSI power I'm pushing out of it. It then will probably start using a little bit more than expected. The next suggestion I have is Damo Sarge. He just says, no HSV kits. It's simple, yeah. I'm not actually going to do that. HSV kits are pretty expensive, and being that this car is going to be ran through a budget build, it's not really budget friendly if I'm going to be spending 2-3 grand, even 4 grand at times for a bumper alone, a front bar or rear bar, even the skirts. It doesn't, you know, it's a bit unrealistic. Jace Sly, rear wing. I love the rear wings off of the SS and SSVs. They're pretty good. So that is already a plan to use a rear wing from an SS and SSV and just pop that straight onto that boot lid I have there. That comes up as dash. Spoiler, D-badge, and blacked out side vents, which is not bad actually. Putting a spoiler on does coincide with the idea that I put on an SS SSV rear wing. D-badging it, that is technically one of the ideas I do have for this car. Blacking out the side vents, well, the color Perusian steel, I don't think black vents would really match the primary color, and also repainting the car or even wrapping it is pretty expensive as is, so I don't think blacking out any of the chrome is on the checklist. This guy's name gives me a bit of a conniption. 2-L8 sign 3. I don't know how to even say that. General fix up and possibly exhaust upgrade. Yes, already general fix up is on that list. It needs to be fixed. Obviously, there's a lot of things that do need to be worked on, as I mentioned early on, and an exhaust upgrade is actually one of them. I do want to have this car's sound exposed and I want it to roar a little bit more, even though it's not a true lion roar because it's not a V8 of course, but I do want this car to actually yell, scream as it comes past you. So I think exhaust upgrades, using maybe a straight through, muffler delete, new exhaust manifold of course, that's something that I do have in mind. Ash says blackout chrome badges and chrome trims, boot lip and front splitter, guard flares from Timu, and offset wheels. That's actually a pretty good suggestion, honestly. Again, with the blacking out, it doesn't really work with the Perusian steel color this car has, in my opinion. However, debadging is still sort of something that I think of. We also have chrome trims. Blacking out the chrome trims, again, it doesn't really work with the Perusian steel. A boot lip is also, you know, a little duck wing or a little duck spoiler. A boot lip is not bad at all. Something that you do get from an SV6. Then you also have guard flares from Temu. I don't think I'm going to do that at all. I don't think guard flares as is. The car is a bit wide. It does flare out as is from the bodywork. I don't think I really need guard flares to add to it. And offset wheels. Maybe something in the future that I would consider is cambering the wheels, a bit more offset. That would look pretty cool on the Holden Commodore, of course. Last but not least, Evan says, International VF parking fog lights. I do like that idea. It's a cool aesthetic. Doesn't really need to be added, but I think putting that does improve the looks as well. So when I do install a rear bar on this car, I definitely need to, as it is damaged. I will look into installing a parking slash fog light installation kit on it so it does improve the look. Now, with all of your suggestions, I reckon a lot of these are very plausible. Now, there's some honorable mentions that I would like to add here. Now, before I get into my ideas, I also wanted to show off this awesome find that I have right here. This was from Kmart. Now, usually they have these lower detail models for $12 from Oswheels, but this one was a pretty cool diamond in the rough situation here. This is the XU1 Torana GTR 1971 Bathurst 500 winner. Very beautiful piece of Australian automotive history right here. Now, what do I want to do to my car? Before I even get into the list I have, I reckon this budget build should be at least $10,000. I don't think I want to go over that mark, but if I can get under that mark, it would be pretty good. I don't have specific brands or specific models in mind when it comes to these individual performance upgrades. So I will just have it as performance upgrade or this, that, the other. You know, it will be a very simplified thing. And based on my suggestions, you guys can also help me source out some of these affordable performance parts for this car. So I would need an intercooler, performance intercooler preferably, of course, because I would like to redline this car without putting stress on the pistons. Brakes upgrades. And this car already has slotted brake discs, so why not upgrade the brakes so that way it adds more stopping power. Cold air intake, high flow exhaust, ECU remapping and retuning. I want to add power to the car and I want to have it at least at 300 horsepower. I go by horsepower, not by kilowatts. I don't want to use forced induction to increase the power, but if I feel like I really would want to, then I reckon turbocharging or twin turbocharging would be a pretty cool idea. I would also like to cam the motor. Now, I haven't found any appropriate performance camshafts for the 3 liter at the moment, but I am still looking here and there for it because it is something I would like to do. I would like to get that very deep rumbling sound from it just to give it that V8 effect. A lighter pulley, of course, I want to, again, increase the power, but also drop the weight a little bit. I reckon because of how much Commodores usually weigh, it's a bit of a hefty car. Decreasing the weight, but also upping the power without forced induction seems like a pretty good goal. Now, we're moving on to the visual side of things. SSV vents. If you've watched my TikTok videos, I have these fake SSV vents appropriate for the VF Commodore. I just need to stick them on, but I also have another idea to where I can modify that bonnet so that way I can actually open up those fake vents and turn them into real vents. It's realistic, and I don't know if it's really needed, so I might just put them on there and just leave it as is. HSV fused front bar. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm looking at cheap HSV front bars, $250 to $300, older generations. Bear with me here, you might hate this. I'm looking at VTVX and VYVZ HSV front bars, clubbies preferably, and I want to take one that is not in good condition, fix it up a little bit, and splice a good portion of that bumper into the existing bumper that I have in the car right here. This is how it should look like running it through ChatGPT to give you an idea. I want something unique. I don't want to do the predictable thing and do like a full kit swap. Take what's out there and just splice it in what I already have. It is a bit wild, but you know, it's a project that I actually would love to do. SV6, SS, SSV, headlights and taillights. I love the looks of them. I love the blacked out headlights that comes from factory for the VF Commodore. Instead of these generic chrome fillers, which it doesn't really look too good. And then for the VF Commodore taillights, the Evoque taillights look pretty good, but adding that chrome or even blacking out that chrome in some cases, that also adds a bit of depth and detail to the car, and it looks pretty good. New set of rims, I'm still considering. This car has Calais rims and not Evoque rims. Looks pretty good on the car, but maybe if I could source out some good looking lighter rims that I could throw onto the car in the future, definitely would consider doing that. That's about it for my ideas that I have for the car. Now, let me know what you guys think, because I think this might be a very ambitious project, being that it is a budget build. That's all I really have to say about this Holden Commodore. It is a beauty. It does need some work. And being that it's a base model, I still love this car. And I think, in general, there's so much potential to be had. And as well as doing a unique project for this car, I really would like to have this car be something that people would love to see. People would actually be curious about, especially with the HSV bar to be spliced in with my current Evoque bar. I think that will add to the aggression of the car, but also give off something that's never been seen before in the Holden community. Instead of just whacking on turbos or whacking a supercharger on, why not play around with what we have and actually create something new out of it? That's just my ideas. But following this video, I would like to see you guys suggest upon my own ideas. Maybe you can help me evolve my own ideas or add to it, and we can go back and forth there and see what we can come up with. This is a community involvement here, so let me know what you guys think. I just wanted to pop in here real quickly just to say thank you guys so much for almost 20,000 views on my TikTok video and all of the comments as well. You guys have helped out this first YouTube video from Sly Street TV, and as well as given me a whole bunch of ideas that I could also incorporate in my main ideas for this beautiful 2014 Holden Commodore. This is only the beginning, and there's plenty of more content to come, and I hope to see you guys there. Catch you guys soon.